Hello and welcome to another video with me, Rauchenwald. Today I want to share with you how we managed to generate $9,503.20 in just 30 days. Now I'm sure many of you are still in the early beginnings of their entrepreneurial journey and are still trying to find a way to constantly generate $100 per day in revenue. Now, when you look at our $9,503.20, you will see that it actually equals over $300 per day. To be fair, Irina and I are in this together and not doing this alone, so therefore you could actually split the number in half, as it equals roughly $4,750 that each of us generated, or roughly a little bit more than $150 per day, which is still a nice amount of money. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. If you are within the ClickFunnels universe and within the ClickFunnels Facebook group, you constantly see posts of people sharing their results with you. And I want to use this video to make sure that you do not get any false or wrong expectations and that you actually are on track with your own success. Now, what do I mean by we generated $9,503.20? It's a very specific amount that was generated by us between the 7th of October 2019 and the 6th of November 2019, so within a 30-day period. However, it's important to understand that that number reflects revenue and not profit, and that's something that most people tend to forget, and most people, when they share their results, conveniently leave out, because there's a huge difference between revenue and profit. In our case, from those $9,503.20 in the same 30-day period, we also had $2,412.91 in business expenses, leaving us with a total profit before taxes of $7,090.29, which still is a decent amount of money and still equals more than $200 per day. Now, if you've been following us from the beginning of our journey with ClickFunnels in late February, early March 2019, you'll know that for the first couple of months, within the ClickFunnels universe, starting out with affiliate marketing, not really knowing what our core offer should be and so on, we actually didn't make a lot of money. It took us a long time, a couple of months, to even accumulate $2,000 in total commissions, while our savings were getting lower and lower, until we eventually figured out exactly what we want to do, and we've been laser focused since then, and we're able to grow our revenue and income. However, it's important to notice, again, Irina and I are in this together, so which means it's not one person working, but two people working, and we are spending way more than 40 hours per week on our business, because we have clear goals and we are willing to make some sacrifices along the way. Now, once you consider that, it may not sound that much, but it makes a huge difference knowing how much time was required to generate $9,503.20. Because if you consider our 60-hour work week for two people, we're actually looking at an hourly rate of $14.77 after months where we didn't earn $1 per hour. Why am I sharing this with you? It's not to diminish our results or to diminish the results of other people out there. It's simply to allow you to see things for what they are. When somebody is sharing with you that they generated X thousand dollars in X amount of days, but you constantly see them online posting and interacting with people to promote their business, they may in fact have a worse hourly rate than you have at your 9-to-5 job. The only difference is you cannot just show up for 100 hours per week at your regular job, while an entrepreneur can actually decide how much time he invests into his business. You may also be wondering why we have $2,412.91 in business expenses within just 30 days. It's quite simple, because when you're running a business, you also have business expenses like accounting. For example, we roughly spend $200 to $300 every month just to cover the costs to run the business. While some of those expenses may be paid yearly, like for example, for both our companies in Hong Kong and in the Ukraine, we have yearly audits. So there is one expense that only occurs every year, but it still needs to be considered in the monthly expenses calculation. Now, another thing I want to mention here is the difference between active and passive income. And that's also something that's important to understand. When you see people sharing their results with, for example, ClickFunnels affiliate marketing, and even if they tell you that they did not spend money on ads and they do not have a YouTube channel and they do not create a blog and so on, it simply means that instead of creating organic content or investing money on paid traffic, they are actually sacrificing their time. So the majority of their income is actually an active income, just like it is from a regular 9-to-5 job. And if they would stop their activities, if they would stop sacrificing their time, their income would also become way less or even go down to zero. And it's crucial to understand this, because when you have to sacrifice your time in order to generate your income, you cannot scale it indefinitely because your time is limited. However, when you use the alternative, meaning you invest money and spend money to drive and scale your business, you actually almost always can scale your business way further. Why? Because while you can only text with a certain amount of people to subscribe to your YouTube channel or check out your funnel, you can increase the budget on your Facebook ads, and assuming your audiences are big enough, scale that way without spending any additional time. And the only point where you can't scale it anymore is when your audiences are not big enough. In our case, looking at those $9,503.20, roughly 15% or a little bit more have actually been passive income, although the line blurs somehow because all our activities within Facebook and other social media platforms automatically also lead to more people checking out our organic content, which then leads to the passive income, making it in fact also active income. So it's really hard to draw the line when you're still very active within the communities, because again, your activities also bring people to your organic content, and therefore your passive income wouldn't be that high if you wouldn't have your active efforts to generate revenue on the other hand. Now, I'm sure you're curious how we actually made those $9,503.20. Again, I've mentioned it before, we started our journey in end of February, early March 2019 with ClickFunnels. And since then, we've been creating a ton of organic content. Irina wrote over 100 different blog posts in our Super Funnel blog. I've published over 100 different videos in my Christian Rauchenwald YouTube channel. And on top of that, we've also been in touch with a lot of people in Facebook, maintain our Facebook group, and so on. And obviously, we've also built funnels. Although most of our funnels didn't turn out as expected, the One Comma Club award behind me shows that we actually managed to generate $1,000 in revenue from one funnel alone. Now, how can you actually apply any of what I've told you to your success or to increase your success and shorten your learning curve? Number one, whenever somebody shares with you their results, be aware that they are talking about revenue and not about profit. While it may look amazing when you see somebody sharing that they made $4,000 in a month, you always have to ask yourself, how many hours did they dedicate to it? And is the method they are using to do so actually scalable? If you've already went through ClickFunnels One Funnel Away Challenge, you will know that Russell shares at one point that you do not have a business unless you have recurring revenue. So all those people that share their business results with you, but constantly have to put in active effort in order to achieve those results, by Russell's definition, do not have a business. It's something that can end at any time. If they at the moment use Facebook groups to pitch a lot of people or reach out to a lot of people and finally get them to buy their offer or click on their affiliate link, one simple change by Facebook could actually crush their business in less than a day. Number two, think about what you actually want to do. Just because other people have success with affiliate marketing, for example, does not mean that you should focus on it. If you have no clue what it's about, if you actually don't feel any passion about affiliate marketing, then it may not be the right thing to do for you, and it will always feel like it's work for you to get anything done. Think about what you're actually good at and what kind of problem you can solve with what you're actually good at. Think about who you want to sell to, like what's the perfect person you actually would want to work with or that you would want to help. Think what problem do they have and how you can solve it, and then build a value ladder, starting with something for free, ideally like a free lead magnet, maybe even a free training or something like that, and then build offer upon offer, increasing price and the value you provide. Number three, always over-deliver. Just because your course is selling well, don't get greedy and increase the price. Make sure that whenever people buy a product from you, that they feel that they got way more than they paid for. When you just increase the price until the point where you make the maximum profit, but people eventually stop buying, a lot of people will not feel anymore that they actually got their money's worth, and they will not easily buy your next offer, the next step of your value ladder. As long as you make sure that your price actually is within a range where the majority of your customers will actually be overwhelmed by how much they got for their money, you will ensure that when you launch your next product, your more expensive step of your value ladder, that they will be more willing to buy that as well. The best example here is ClickFunnels with their free offers, the affiliate bootcamp, the 30days.com series, which each alone could be charged $50 or $100 for, or even more, but they give it away for free, followed by Russell Brunson's and ClickFunnels' great books, Expert Secrets, .com Secrets, Network Marketing Secrets, and so on, which are available also for a reasonable price and totally over-deliver compared on what you pay for it. And last but not least, the One Funnel Away Challenge, which also is worth way more than $100. But the result of all those small steps in the value ladder are very simple. ClickFunnels makes more profit because every time you buy something from them, you actually get way more than you expect. Therefore, the next time they announce a product and it's priced maybe at twice what you paid previously, you will not have any doubt that the price is justified. You will simply buy it because so far all their products over-delivered. And lastly, the most important thing, be aware that the one ingredient that you cannot buy is time. In order to be successful, you need to spend time. It takes time, it takes failure, and the crucial element is not giving up. While whatever funnel you're launching today may not convert well because you have no clue how to drive traffic, if you then simply give up and say, oh, funnels don't work for me, well, then you've lost. But if you learn from your mistakes, ask yourself why your funnel didn't convert, and then move on and build the next funnel that doesn't make the same mistake again, eventually you'll succeed. In the end, you're always going to be just one funnel away. To quote Thomas Edison after he invented the light bulb, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So he was also in fact always just one try away from inventing the light bulb. So to summarize it, it's important that you always use your brain. Whenever you see somebody posting something or sharing with you, whenever you are tempted to start a new business opportunity, think about, does it align with your core offer? Is it something you would actually enjoy? And also be aware whenever people share numbers that it's revenue and not profit, that in fact they could be worse off than you are right now because again, their business expenses may consume most of the profit. Now, if you want to know more about what it is we exactly do and how we can help you in your journey, make sure to click on the link in the first comment down below and join our Facebook group. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you soon in the group. Till then, bye-bye.